When God decides to test us, He does so for numerous reasons. It is unfortunate that most times we fail those tests woefully. We get caught up in this frantic race of life that we usually forget that there is more to life than what we see. We get carried away by the world's aesthetics that we forget about our spiritual battles. Life is not a bed of roses. Life throws us challenges at every turn and watches how we handle those challenges. It is like a video game. How you handle the previous challenge determines what challenge is coming next and when the challenge is coming. Sometimes we handle those challenges so well and also perfect the artistry that any challenge life throws at us becomes a simple problem that we can solve in the blink of an eye. The challenges are usually of different levels. Some challenges can be handled softly, while some challenges might need technicality to solve them. God has so many ways and so many reasons of testing humans, but it does not mean that every challenge encountered is from God to test man. Some difficulties are actually from the devil, and some are even self-inflicted. No matter the source of the difficulties, there is none that God cannot make disappear. Most times, the difficulties are usually not from Him, but He just decides to either intervene and save the person or leave the difficulty to linger for a while so as to watch the person's reaction during these trial times. These reactions are the outcome of the test and would suggest if the person passed or failed the test. Passing the test would mean keeping to your faith despite the trials. Strong and faithful believers would have no issues with this test, but the weak believers might fail the test. Strong believers always understand that in every situation it is only God they can completely confide in. No matter the situation, they remain steadfast in their prayers. During hard times, they increase the pressure on their prayers and keep making demands from God to save them from the situation. The heart of weak believers is usually feeble. They give up on faith easily and are quick to blame God for whatever predicament they find themselves in. They are most likely to stop praying and withdraw from God at any slight test of faith. James 1 verse 12 says, "Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him." Patience is the key when dealing with tests of faith. Anyone with patience can overcome this test. Just keep believing that God knows exactly what He is doing and everything is going to be fine. God always has a reason for everything He is doing. Keep praying and keep trusting in God to show you the way. Many believers have also failed this test because they lack patience. At some point, they start to doubt the existence of God, and this poisons their heart against the idea that God has something massive planned for them. Unbelievers would not even know this is a test of faith, as they live an ungodly life prior to this test or predicament. They usually live a carefree life and do not bother themselves with praising God or praying to God. They just take life as it comes. They end up not finding a purpose as to why they were created. Unless they find God, they do not have any purpose to their lives. After they find God and accept His sovereignty over the world, only then can they fully enjoy their life. Good communication with God also preserves your faith in God. When you always pray to Him, He would always reveal His plans and will for you. Taking God along in every step of your life would strengthen your relationship with God and would help you trust God even more, so you would be comfortable during the trial times. Having a good relationship with God is very important in the journey of life, understanding there would be ups and downs, and trusting God to be in control of it all. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 1 says, "There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it." James 1 verse 2 through 4 says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." There are numerous reasons why God would want to test us. It could be to strengthen our faith in Him. Tough situations make people realize how much they need God in their life. Whenever they experience hardship, they run to God. That is basically the only time most people remember there is God. Probably after God sees them through this hard time, they would be appreciative enough to stick with Him and worship Him forever. Most people increase their communication with God during hard periods. They feel they need to believe in something greater than them, and they also tend to be more appreciative of any slight comfort afforded to them. Showing gratitude for everything is also a way to strengthen your relationship with God. When you show you are thankful for the gift of life, God will keep preserving you. He loves appreciative souls. He cherishes His followers that are appreciative of every good thing given or done to them. God might be testing your faith to show you He is the Almighty. Sometimes we humans tend to dare God. We love to show God we can do it all by ourselves, and sometimes God just lets us have our way. Sometimes God just feels the need to show us He is the superior one, and He just makes us undergo a little trial so that we can understand that we need Him in all we do. We tend not to include God in our plans. We do not commit things into His hands. It is about time we understood that without God, we would not be where we are today, let alone making plans for the future. We tend not to include Him in our plans until things start turning upside down. Then we would remember we have God. This could be the reason God puts little trials on our way most times. Life is not a bed of roses. It has its good times and bad times. Whether you are a believer or not, you would go through your trial times. It is important to keep your composure and know God is always in control. If you are not a believer, you should have a rethink about your life. Put your whole life on God, trust Him and pray to Him always. He is the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the beginning and the end. He is the all-knowing and all-merciful. He would accept any unbeliever that wants to be a believer. God has plans for everyone. He knows exactly how everyone's life would turn out to be, and He listens to your prayers whenever you pray to Him. Ask Him for forgiveness, and He would forgive you. Ask Him for your needs, and He would answer you at the right time. James 4 verse 7 says, "Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." Ignorance has led most of us to our doom. Most of us think we know too much, but we should know that no matter how knowledgeable you are, you can never be as knowledgeable as the God who gave you the wisdom and knowledge to solve problems. He fortifies us with wisdom to solve problems and still leaves opportunity to ask for more wisdom and understanding whenever we get confused about any particular issue in our lives. He blesses us with talents to get by, and he asks for nothing in return, only for you to serve him. He deserves all glory and praise, and also deserves to be worshipped every time of the day. God does not like ignorant people. He would definitely punish them, and if they ask for forgiveness, he would definitely forgive them. The test and trial times will definitely turn to testimony someday. God would never watch us suffer forever. He would definitely come to our rescue. These tests are just there to fortify us with the fear of God and strengthen our relationship with God. God has what is best planned for every one of us. It pays to be a believer, as God caters for his children. God shows believers the way, and he lets them know his will. Keeping close communication with God will not only help your spiritual life, it helps every aspect of your life. God keeps close to him people that strive to stay close to him. The trial times has made many unbelievers believe, and has made many believers strengthen their belief. The trial times is not a time of suffering. Rather, it should be seen as a time of reflection